Alright, hello. Speaking a little bit louder in this review because I'm a little farther away. We're in the bedroom today because, at least for this review, because they are repairing the elevator in my apartment building. And they're very loud. So I cannot sit in my normal space because it's too loud, you won't hear me. So we are here in the bedroom giving a review for, as part of the Pick 10 80's, giving a review for The Wraith, the 1986 film starring Charlie Sheen, Nick Cassavetes, and Sherilyn Fenn and Randy Quaid. This movie blew me away. How did I not know about this movie? Apparently this movie bombed at the box office and lost out to American Tail and Star Trek 4. So this movie about a kick-ass ghost motorist killing off a gang was topped by a cartoon mouse and Kirk and Spock going after whales. How does that happen? I don't know. The story here is that sometime before the events of the film, our main female character, Carrie, was with this guy named Jamie. He died. The circumstances of which are confusing. They can't prove it, but supposedly it was this gang led by Packard, played by Nick Cassavetes, and now all of a sudden, this mysterious car driver in this helmet thing there, you see it, is killing off Packard's gang, leading to a one-on-one confrontation with Packard, all while a sheriff named Loomis, played by Randy Quaid, in one of the most serious roles you'll ever see him play, is trying to track down this killer. So yeah, a mysterious, maxed killer killing off people, being chased down by someone named Loomis. Where have I heard that one before? Oh, hey. Only it's not really. Only in this case, our killer is actually the hero. So when I started watching this, it seemed very obvious who the killer was. You start off with this weird light show, right? As Packard messes with this one guy and his girlfriend, and he steals their car. We introduced to the villain right away. Then there's these lights that come around and land, and then almost right away we're introduced to Jake, played by Charlie Sheen, who does a pretty good job in the movie when he's in the movie. He disappears for many points of time. It's very obvious it's him, but there's a twist to it. Because I'm sitting there, I was watching this in the van when we were getting transported to work and stuff, because I go from site to site, and each time I watched a little bit. By the time I got home, I only had a half hour left, so. Before I continue, let's talk about the cast. We have Charlie Sheen, who I said is actually pretty good. Sherilyn Fenn, who's also good. Nick Cassavetes as the villain is fantastic. He is the villain you want to hate. Randy Quaid, like I said, this is one of his more serious roles, and I think he's really good in this serious role. Usually he's playing Cousin Eddie or something stupid, But he's really good in this. And we also have Clint Howard, who plays Rughead with this weird Eraserhead type toupee hairpiece on. It's really weird. He's the only one of the gang that doesn't die, by the way, because he's actually innocent in what had happened. So like I said, I'm watching this. Okay, and they tell the story of what happened. There's this character named Billy, and he's sort of hanging out with the main female character, Carrie, who Packard has designs on, right? He wants her. He says, I love you, even though later he's with another chick. By the way, there's tits in this movie. It's PG-13. And you get, like, multiple tits. Like, you get Sherilyn Fenn in a couple scenes where you see her tits. Like, in the flashback, she's topless with Jamie. And you see that, and they play that a couple times. There's a scene where, like I said, you catch Packard with another woman, and she's topless. There's a scene where Sherilyn Fenn is with Charlie Sheen, and she, like, takes her top off. I'm like, this is a PG-13 movie, and I'm watching this in a work van, hoping I don't get in trouble, because I didn't know there was nudity, because it's PG-13. You know? They don't swear, really. There's a couple swear words, but nothing big. You hear things like skughead, or scuzzhead, or dummy, and I'm just like, all that, and then you get tits. And it's very confusing. 80's were a confusing time, man. Like, you can get tits in a PG-13 movie. You get tits in a PG movie at some point. But, like, it's confusing. Also confusing is this. This is the theatrical release poster, I guess. This is one of them. For the home media release. Now, to look at it, you would think nothing's wrong with it. But once I realized who the characters were, this doesn't make any sense. Because this is Packard. He's the bad guy. All these guys are the good guys. That's Jake, that's Carrie, and that's Bailey Boy. So, yeah, him standing there with them makes no sense. Get Randy Quaid on the back with the thing. And there. What is this shot? Hold on. Where did that come from? That's like a publicity shot. That's not in the movie at all. Charlie Sheen's hair is not even the same there. I don't know. I really don't know. It's confusing. He's Heaven Sent and Hell on Wheels. The soundtrack in this film is fantastic. You have Billy Idol, Robert Palmer, Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue. It's a fantastic soundtrack, man. Songs from With a Rebel Yell, You Got Mo, Smoking in the Boys' Room. Fantastic soundtrack. This is a fantastic soundtrack. Jeez. But yes, so it's basically ends up being The Crow. Before The Crow was a thing. I don't know if the comic books were a thing, but it's The Crow, man. I've heard people say, oh, it's paying homage to Mad Max, which, the car stuff, yeah, I could see that. But it's The Crow, man. No one mentions The Crow. I haven't watched Drum Dum's review for it yet, so he might have said something, because he's a big Crow fan. But it's The Crow, man. This gang murders a guy, he comes back to life, albeit looking different, and under the guise of Jake. Yes, Jake is our killer in this film. Charlie Sheen is the killer. I don't know if he was the one always wearing the suit, but he is our killer in this. And he's getting revenge because, so apparently they killed him and like got rid of his body. He's come back in the form of Jake to get revenge. And he does. He gets revenge, and it, like almost every one of these, like there's where he like drives right through their car and they explode. Like they do a race and it happens. They do this race thing like 2 or 3 times, and it's like by the 3rd time, why do you keep doing it? There is one kill that was just fantastic. So Clint Howard, they're at this garage or whatever that the gang's at, and Packard takes off, and Clint Howard is like, well, I'm getting out of here. I know who he is. I saw who it is. It's Jamie. It's like, boy, you guys don't kill him. I'm not going to die for something you guys did. That's my Clint Howard impression, I guess. And, yeah, he's the innocent one. He was only told about it. Or I think he dumped the body, but he was innocent, basically. I don't remember. They never told me who it was, and, you know, it's that Jamie guy because they show his face, and I'm like, that's why I'm like, oh, it's the guy they killed come back to life. I'm like, wait, that's the Crow. What? It's not better than the Crow, but it's a good movie. Yeah, and I guess they had Charlie Sheen be the character because it would be too obvious to bring the. But if it would, I thought it was a twist, but then in the end, I don't know. A lot of people just say, "Oh, hey, it's Jake." I've watched a couple of reviews, and there's Jake, and I'm like, "But you don't. That's a twist. You don't want to put spoilers for somebody." But I guess you don't really care. It's an old movie, but yeah, I'm telling you because I don't care about spoilers. I put the spoiler thing, well, not in these ones, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And like I said, Clint Howard, he's like, I'm out of here. And he goes to leave and starts driving away. And then here comes the turbo. That's what they call the car. He comes driving up. He just goes right through the garage and goes, psh! And here comes Randy Quaid, playing the character of Loomis, by the way. He's driving up. He got this investigation. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And like, he knows that Packer's gang has something to do with it because it's his gang members that are getting killed. Wait a minute. I just thought of this. It's also more like the Crow because there's a gang member named Skank. Skank's right here. Skank's dead. So what the hell? I don't know. I need to look it up. Was the Crow... Did this movie come out before or after the Crow comic books? Because I need to know. Or the books, the graphic novels, whatever you call them. I need to know. Because, you know, James O'Barr, he could have ripped this off, you know? Who knows? Who knows? I'm assuming this came out after, so they could have ripped off the Crow. But there's even a guy named Skank, so that's really weird. Anyways, that was a cool explosion. And it's practical because it's the 80's, man. It's the 80's. This takes place in Arizona, I guess, which explains all the, you know, the terrain, the free roads, not, you know, like highways or anything. It's like all back road stuff. That's, you know, Arizona's like that. And the cinematography in this is pretty good. Like, when they show the roads, they're really good, you know, and the explosions are good and everything. The car races are done really well. Yeah. And, yes, so they have one last race. It's finally down to Jake, a.k.a. the Wraith, versus Packard. And they have the race, and he does the thing. And then Randy Quaid, Loomis, he's like, I don't want to keep calling him Loomis because I think of, there's over there. The evil is in there. I think of that Loomis. Not Randy Quaid. But Randy Quaid, I gotta call him that, shows up. He's like, Packard and his gang are done. We're never going to find him. Although there is one thing, and I'll get to. It's like, one of the only big things that I had a gripe with is the ending to this film. Part of the ending. Because it's a nitpick, but, you know. So, yeah, he's like, we're never going to find him anyway. Just drop it. So, the final scene shows the Wraith showing up at Carrie's house, and he reveals that he's Jake, and then she somehow figures out that he's Jamie, despite not looking like him, although, why couldn't they just bring the actor back to turn into Jamie? I don't know. I mean, he can only exist in that form, I guess. He's like, I got one more thing I like to do, but I'll be back. That's my Charlie Sheen. He shows up at the burger joint where Billy works, and Billy had just gotten into a fight with Packer, so he thinks the Packer's like, he's like, no, he goes, hey, I'm going to give you this. And it's the keys to his car. And then he's like, who are you, brother? He's like, you said it. And that's when he realizes it's his brother. And I like that, but then he drives off on his motorcycle with Carrie, who's just somehow there, and they drive off. Here's my problem. He just framed his brother for the murders. Think about it. Randy Quaid said we're never going to catch the guy. But he gave the car to his brother. His brother starts driving the car around. Randy Quaid is going to see him, and that's going to implicate him in the murders. As much as he didn't care about the murders, as a lawman, he's going to have to do something. That's proof. That's evidence. He's not going to be able to let it go. He just framed his brother for the murders. I know it's supposed to be a sentimental brother handing over the brother thing to the brother thing, but no, he just framed him. His brother's going to go to jail or something. But I actually really enjoyed this film. But I'm going to have to say, when it comes to the Wraith, it's pretty good. So what are your thoughts on the Wraith? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now, before I go, the next one is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's the last one, and I got a ranking. I got to do Stephen King Saturday Night. I have a little more time today, but I'm going to lay down and try to take a nap because I don't have to work tomorrow, so I got a little more time. But, yeah. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.